Hey, Cam Roberts here. Today I want to give you a lesson on toilet paper. We call them bog rolls in Australia, or dunny paper. Well, I'm not sure what you call them, whatever country you're from. Mostly my followers and fans and my connections on LinkedIn are from the USA and the UK and New Zealand. But look, down under in Australia we call them bog rolls, dunny paper, toilet paper, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to teach you a lesson about marketing using toilet paper. Now, at the moment, if you don't know or you're not aware, and you probably are, but I'll mention it anyway, there's a shortage of dunny rolls in Australia. And what's happening is, at a psychological level, people are being motivated to buy toilet paper en masse because they are fearful of missing out. We call that FOMO, right? And what's driving them is fear. And what you need to learn for your business, for your marketing, is a couple of things. Number one, how can you use the fear of missing out in your marketing? How can you use fear as a motivational force? You see, people are more driven by fear than they are of pleasure. They'll do more to avoid pain than they will, generally, to gain pleasure, right? And so there's a shortage of dunny rolls in Australia because people are fearful of missing out. They're driven by fear because of the coronavirus, right? And they think that they're going to be in their homes for a couple of weeks and they won't be able to get out to buy toilet paper. So they're stocking up, as a doomsday prep kind of thing. And what's really interesting is that it's also being driven by social proof. So those three things are happening at an emotional and psychological level, and you've got to figure out how can you use them in your business. Now, by the way, this is not the first time in history where social proof, the fear of missing out, and fear as the primary motivation force to drive people's behavior has been used or has been seen to come out into the marketplace. It happens when stocks start crashing, right? Normal, rational people will sell blue chip stocks and lose thousands and thousands of dollars for fear of missing out, for fear, right? And then, social proof comes in because it's on the news, it's on the media, and people, get driven because of the social proof. It also happens with oil, right? Every time there's some sort of oil crisis, people will line up for kilometers to get fuel. It's ridiculous. I can remember when I was around 10 and there was some sort of oil crisis in the world back then. This is going back 35 years ago. And you would line up the petrol station, kilometers long. We were in lines of kilometers long back in my hometown when I was 10, a little sleepy town on the central coast of New South Wales. And you would have to go on alternate days. So depending on what your number plate was, what your number plate started with, whether or not you were allowed to get petrol. Now, it also happens in other industries. It happens in preschools. Parents are fearful of missing out on getting their child into preschool or a certain private school, so they, enroll months and years ahead. We've seen it with baby formula in recent times. And so it's not the last time that we're going to see mass hysteria of buying happening because of those three forces: social proof, fear is the primary motivation behavior, and the fear of missing out, you see. Those things drive sales. Those things should be used in your marketing, at the right tone and at the right time. A couple of other examples: Black Friday sales, Christmas sales, Boxing Day sales, end of year sales. All of these things are driven by social proof. When you see Boxing Day sales, the news starts talking about Boxing Day sales. They show images of the years before when people rushed into the stores. And so more people then go to the Boxing Day sales because of that social proof. So you've got to figure out in your business, how can you engineer this in your marketing so that you can use social proof, you can use the fear of missing out, and you can use fear as the primary behavior to motivate someone to take action and buy your products and services. So hope that's helpful. That's my marketing tip for this week. Learn the lesson of what's happening with the toilet roll and the dunny roll and the bog roll in Australia, and figure out how you can orchestrate and engineer those three things to spike sales in your business.